And welcome back to another episode of Down with the Browns.
Let's go, baby! Denzel Ward.
Oh, yes, sir. And today we have a very special guest, one of Cleveland's finest, Nick Karns.
Welcome
How you
in,
doing
Nick
today?
Carns.
Hi guys.
What's up?
You know what? I've been talking to Christian about this for a while, right? So we've been trying to do this for a good time now. So I'm really glad to be here today. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we finally brought a little bit of that money Denzel Ward got and finally got Nick Karns on the podcast. So, well, speaking of Denzel Ward, how about that bag that man got today?
The bag.
The
The
bag.
absolute bag. I just want to say I brought a candle. I just want to light a candle for Jamar Chase's stats when he plays the Browns here, because it's over. I'm going to leave this candle right here. It is 5 years, $100.5 million. And so, he's signed until right through the 2027 season. So I love this signing. I love this extension. Well deserved by the Warden, two-time Pro Bowler. We saw the way he locked down Jamar Chase. I really think that, you see a guy like Jamar Chase averaging up until week 9, until he played the Browns. I think he had like averaging 20.3 yards a game catching and averaging almost a touchdown a game. And then all of a sudden, gets lined up, matched up against Denzel Ward, 6 catches on 13 targets. Had the most targets he had all season. And all of a sudden, he's shut down by Denzel Ward. You got to re-sign a guy like that. You got to extend a guy like that. So he's going to be an integral part of our defense. The little mini Cleveland Legion of Boom that we have going on, setting up there. So I'm so excited with this signing. Nick, give me your thoughts on this, because I know you have some thoughts. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you said a lot of great pieces to it. There's a lot more too for, I think, all of us when Denzel Ward's from here, right? He went to Nordonia High School. He's from Macedonia. He went to Ohio State. And so it's really cool to see that guy become the highest paid cornerback in the NFL. I think that's a part of the feel good of it. But I mean, on the field, it's like, I don't think it's ever been a question of if Denzel Ward should be extended or not if he's on the field, right? Because when he's on the field, he's great.
Right.
Like the only question was, like, what's his availability? What's his durability? Right. And I think last year he only missed 2 games, and I believe one of them was for COVID. Right. So he had a really healthy season. And I think, that went a long way in proving why he should get paid.
Yeah. And I mean, just going back to that Bengals game, man, he set the tone for that whole game.
The whole
Like, right off the bat, they're driving down the field. You're just like, oh, man.
My heart was, I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
And then you see Burrow drop back a little bit. He looks over to his boy Jamar Chase, and it's a pick 6. So took
I
that
was
thing
screaming.
100
I lost my voice. I couldn't.
100 yards.
We needed that.
Mac, what are your thoughts and everything going on with this extension?
Well, so like it had to happen, right? Now granted, he still had his 5th year picked up, so he could have played throughout the season, but he's one of those players where you don't want to let them get away. Now I'm not going to sit here and argue that he's the best corner in the league, but he was top 3 this year in terms of completion percentage at 53%. So to have your number one guy, a guy that where you can put him out on an island and he will shut down a team's number one option, you can't pass that up. So right. This was great to get done. Now, I did think that it was a little bit early, but then again, when you're always setting the market, you're going to be in the better position when inflation, hits these contracts. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely a great signing there. I can't complain about the money because, again, when you're setting the market like that, my thing is just kind of piggybacking off of Nick's is just availability. So I think he can be healthy moving forward, and when he's on the field, he's great. So to keep him in Cleveland long term, I thought was a great move for the Browns.
Yeah, totally,
absolutely.
And for the next couple of years, we've got JJ3, we've got Greg Newsome, we've got Greedy Williams, we've got Denzel Ward, we've got all them boys under contract, and Grant Delpit, all them boys under contract for the next 3 years guaranteed.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
I'm so excited. I am so excited, and it's a jersey that I'm not afraid to buy. So that's for sure. I'm gonna get myself a award. You already have it. You're one step ahead of the game.
There you go. I just, it's nice to see this like wave of guys, like, because I think we're all relatively from the same era of Browns football where, you never could rely on anyone to be here for more than a year or two, right? 2 years into the draft, they're gone. And so finally, it's like you get guys like Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward and Joel Bitonio and now Wyatt Teller. Like these guys are going to be here for the long haul, and I think that's something we just haven't had, right? And so to finally have it is really good to see.
Yeah, for sure. And like I think it's even cooler just keeping the kid in the state of Ohio, like you said. Like I don't exactly know which exact city and high school he went to, but I know he's from Northeast Ohio, and then like he goes to Ohio State. That's kind of where he made his name, like nationally, with that big hit stick he had on that corner from, was it Maryland? I want to say.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was
like where he just laid that dude out, and then he just becomes the Cleveland Browns cornerback.
It had the slide tackle too. I mean, it just that was everywhere on the Twitter timelines. It's just
sorry.
No, go ahead. Nick.
I was at a Browns Ravens game where Denzel Ward had a pick in the red zone, and he also blocked a Ravens field goal, and the Browns won 12-9.
Yeah,
that is. When you get a guy like that, you have to. I just completely agree with what Mac was saying. You have to keep a guy like that, and it's exciting. It's just like you were saying a little bit, Nick. Like it's exciting to have homegrown guys and people who have been Browns, just having them extended and be Browns for a long time. So we haven't had that in a while. I mean, we have Joe Thomas. No offense to Joe Thomas, he's great, but when you're saying, we're hanging our hats on an offensive lineman, and that's it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like okay, we have so I no offense to Joe Thomas, love Joe Thomas, but it's great to have some skill guys out there. So that's amazing.
Yeah, and like it felt like there for a while, like as you said, it was like Joe Thomas or Joe Hayden, and Denzel Ward. Like he feels like, Joe Hayden had that like lockdown season back in 2014, and so everybody was like, oh, how can we like get rid of this dude, and then we cut him, and then it just feels like we've not had anybody like since then.
Exactly. So. And then of course he goes to the Steelers.
We were buying offensive lineman jerseys and Joshua Cribbs special
teams jersey.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have one. It's nice to have one. To have a Nick Chubb jersey. So it's nice for a change. Finally.
So what's your thoughts on that, Mac?
Setting it up. There we go. Now I'm throwing back in. So for everybody that didn't know, my computer froze about like 4 minutes before kick. So I've just been kind of dealing with that. Repeat that. Sorry.
I think we were just talking just about Denzel Ward and what he means.
So in terms of like what he means to Cleveland, he was a track star. Like he went to states. One of the guys that I played high school ball with, Carl Zallo, ran against him, and that was his big thing in Ohio was, hey, I beat Denzel Ward in the 100-meter dash.
Wow.
But when you look at Denzel on tape, he looks like a track star, right? He's taking all these interceptions for a touchdown. I mean, to be a Cleveland kid, and then the first time you're ever playing is in Cleveland against Pittsburgh, and you get 2 interceptions, I bet it's one of those things where it's a dream come true, because it's one of those like hometown stories, those feel good kind of situations, right? He grew up in Cleveland. Graduated from the Ohio State University, which is an extremely popular college in the state of Ohio, and then plays for his hometown team. And again, anytime that he's been on the field, you notice him. He will take away a team's best weapon, and he'll certainly do more than that, including, the blocked field goals and as well as, creating points himself. So it's one of those, and again, I mean, you're extending a guy to where it almost seems like can't miss, right? But
Mhm.
in the back of our minds, it was always, okay, so where are we going to find this money? They found the money, they
Yeah.
paid him, and I'm glad he's staying in Cleveland.
Yeah. And one thing that I really love about Denzel Ward is it feels like he always shows up in the division rival games.
Yeah.
Like he's
yeah,
always there.
that's
Like his first game of his career against Pittsburgh had 2 picks.
Mm.
As you said, like the blocked field goal against the Ravens.
Yeah.
Last year against the Ravens, like I mean, the dude was everywhere. Like I mean, he
Yeah.
had 2 like really clutch tackles
Mhm.
down the stretch. So
I just remember that the special part of that 2020 run when it was like the defense wasn't good, but they would just get turnovers, and like Denzel Ward was such a big part of that. I like against the Cowboys, they were driving, and it was like our defense was just trying to hold on, and Denzel Ward picked Dak off. Yeah, it was Dak, and he's just he's a corner that helps the Browns win games like few corners can.
Absolutely. And I think, and I think that's a guy in your cornerback room, who you want to have that leader, you know what I mean? And I think that it's great to have that at certain positions, especially in the cornerback room. So like my question for you guys, just really quick, just a quick sentence or two answer. What do you think that this does for, obviously it's just an extension. It's not bringing in a guy, but I know a lot of people have been bringing in corners during the draft and what have you, but would you still, I mean, I don't know. Are you comfortable where the cornerback room is at the moment, or just kind of, I just want to lay of the land and try to get your guys' thought process on it. Would you, look to add anybody through the draft, or would you, is that kind of more on the bottom of your lists? I don't know. Whoever wants to go first, it doesn't really matter.
you can go
I'll
ahead.
snag it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll snag it. So, not only is the cornerback room in a position to where they don't have to grab somebody through the draft,
Right.
I would argue that having the team's, 4 best corners out there is better than a 3 safety look. So you have Denzel Ward, who's obviously a number 1 corner. You have Greg Newsome, who's been nothing but sticky his first season in Cleveland. I would say he overperformed. From when he was drafted. And then you got a guy like Troy Hill who can play a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage. He's a slot guy. He's a veteran. And then you have, Greedy Williams, who was a 2nd-round pick, who stayed healthy this year and proved why he was a 2nd-round pick. And then even at the bottom of that, even when you're scraping the bottom of the barrel in terms of this cornerback room, you end up with a guy like AJ Green, who earned his way off the practice squad. And if it wasn't for a bogus pass interference call for Mike Williams, he might have won that Chargers game. So, they are absolutely overloaded at the cornerback position now in today's NFL. That's a good thing to do, especially with it being a passing league. You want to have depth. You want to be able to, rotate guys in case somebody gets injured or, whatever. So, and
they're young would say too. They're young.
That as well. I mean, Troy Hill's the only guy over 30.
Yeah.
And then the second youngest would be Denzel Ward, who's going to be turning 25 here.
Yeah,
he's going to be turning 25 here in 10 days. So
early birthday
they're
present.
stacked at corner.
Yeah, that is what a hell of a birthday present.
Yeah.
You know what though? Just about the corners, like you look at like the Bengals have 3 good receivers. The Steelers, Claypool and Deontay are both really good. I just think to play and Mark Andrews obviously is great. So to play in the division, you need those corners.
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
And like there's another position on our team that has like some really great depth as well, and that's the quarterback position. And there's been, as we would like to say, some Mayfield madness. There's been some stuff, some people actually on some podcasts that have went on and talked about their time in Cleveland, aka Baker Mayfield. And I think Matt can take the rest of this one away.
Go ahead, Matt. Let's see. What are your thoughts on it?
So it's with the podcast, it's almost like, what are we doing here? Right. You got 18 million sitting on the roster. You're in a tug of war with Jadeveon Clowney over reported an extra $3 million a year. So, they might be able to use that kind of extra money. It's almost to the point where it is just madness. It's just like, why do we even care at this point? The couple's already divorced, but they're still living in the same house. So I just thought that it would be a good idea to get the word on the street and how people are feeling. So right now, we'd like to bring on our very own Browns Twitter field reporter, Ed in Columbus.
Our man.
Yes, this is Ed in Columbus.
So, Ed, what is the state of Browns Twitter right now about Baker Mayfield?
Well, Ed in Columbus, where you're down with the Browns break-in news right now. I think it's fine to continue to cheer for Baker's success, but I feel like if I let the poll up here regarding which you would rather have next year, a Browns Super Bowl win or Baker Mayfield MVP season, some of you would be conflicted. I don't get that. This reporter doesn't get that as well. He's a Browns bro. And, we wish Baker Mayfield success, and maybe he'll be a MVP. The USFL just started. Also, too, Baker Mayfield, imagine being loudly and aggressively criticized at your job. Literally everyone with a job. That's called a Wednesday. It's also called a Monday, a Tuesday, a Thursday, a Friday. Baker Mayfield, get with the program on planet Earth. We don't get $18.7 million to go on a podcast and have a dog look upside down like it's dead. Baker, get with the program.
I love Blake.
Also, too, this is a tragedy. The worst thing about the Browns moving on from Baker is that now I'll never get to get my dog a Baker Mayfield jersey, but I still get him a dog pound shirt. Yes, he is shamelessly exploiting his dog for internet points. You know what? I shamelessly exploit myself dancing around all the time. It doesn't matter. Look at Robby Anderson. I think that's Robby Anderson. That's how he acted about Baker. And this is actually when the season and Baker was still, playing for the Browns. So guess what? That shows that the landscape out there, the temperature out there for Baker Mayfield, it's cold like Cleveland right now, and that's why they're canceling stuff. And tomorrow, Baker, if I were you, I don't know if I'd show up. That's your break-in news.
That's your break-in news.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're just gonna keep Ed on if that's cool, guys.
You know what? My wife kept me around. I appreciate it, guys.
Oh, baby.
We got to keep Ed on here. So
I have a quick question with the part that he ended at the end. What do you think that, this is kind of a side question, just kind of opinionated, but do you think that Baker Mayfield shows up to OTAs, or because it's kind of a lose-lose situation for him in a way? I kind of want your guys' opinion if he should show up or not, because you know what I mean. It's or is it involuntary? Right? It's voluntary.
You know what? I wanna answer your question. If I was Baker Mayfield, I would show up and make it as awkward as possible and force them to get me the hell off the team.
Yeah.
Yep.
Honestly.
Yeah. That's a route that I think is interesting, because it should work, really. You know what I mean? I feel like you have publicly, in his eyes, humiliated me, right, in front of the nation. So what should I do? Is just actually show up, and I'll be there. You know what I mean? Amari Cooper's there, Deshaun Watson's there. Shake his hand and say, hey, I'm also a quarterback in this room too.
Yeah.
So does anybody else have a different opinion, or is that?
I got some thoughts here. Manny, here's what I do. I get my buddy Stone Cold Steve Austin. I fire up that QB RV, and I go to Berea, and I say, oh, hell yeah. And because I'm all about myself, I'm Baker Mayfield, and I'm the victim.
Show up with us.
And I'm Stone.
Oh, no. Who knows? Mac, did you want to say something? I don't know if you had an opinion on
it's just too. If I was Andrew Berry, I wouldn't even let him sniff the building. What's the point here? He's on the trading block. You know what this exactly reminds me of?
What?
Houston Texans 2021 training camp. And they had Deshaun Watson out running around in a red jersey, not even participating in drills, just almost holding bags at some point. You're trying to trade this guy. If anything, you should put him in bubble wrap so he doesn't twist an ankle or something. In a situation where you need to max someone's liquidation.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Right.
So I wouldn't even have him there. It just seems almost like a waste of time. And to what Nick was saying,
he wants to make it, as awkward as possible. If I was the team, I wouldn't even want any of that drama. I wouldn't want any of that awkwardness. It's a giant distraction because everybody knows he's not going to be there come the season. So again, I ask, what's the point?
Not even to show off that his shoulder's okay, make him throw a couple of balls around, not even to do a little bit of advertising.
I mean, if his agent can host like a media day, you shouldn't be doing that in Berea, and you definitely shouldn't be doing that with a Browns jersey on. Like, I don't know. I just don't. It just
bring him back.
Why? Like, why are we doing this?
Do the Browns have the power to say, "Don't come here"?
Well, that's a good question. That's a good question.
They can because the Houston Texans did the exact same thing with Deshaun Watson. They sent him home and they said, all right, we're not going to mess with your contract. Now, here's the thing. These are OTAs. So they're 100% voluntary and players cannot be fined whatsoever or any kind of like disciplinary action against if they miss it. So, Baker could just straight up say, hey, I don't want to go. And, I wouldn't blame him because, again, I mean, this is the divorce. Why are you going to stay in the house with your ex? On either side. Yeah. So, he could just choose not to go and there wouldn't be anything about it. So,
they're having the Baker Mayfield, like a little statue shrine thing, release party in Oklahoma here in about 3 or 4 days or whenever it is.
Yeah. Take a trip with the family down to Oklahoma.
Take them down to Norman, let them, whatever they do down there in Norman, Oklahoma, and let them worship him a little bit. Like they're used to.
Christian.
What?
Okay, so my thing is this: if Baker shows up tomorrow, okay, if I'm Jimmy Haslam, I'm being an adult. I'm going Saturday, and I'm sitting front row at the Baker Mayfield statue enshrinement. If I'm Jimmy, if Baker wants to show up to Maria, I would return the favor, and I'd show up to Norman.
Can you imagine the level of pettiness? If that actually happened, because I don't even, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't even think Baker has showed up to OTAs for previous years, right?
Oh, he has.
He has.
Yeah, because when I remember there being a huge piece about Odell Beckham skipping OTAs in 2019, and he was sitting there throwing to Jarvis.
Yeah, because Baker was there and Odell wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But. Yeah, if Baker shows up, oh my gosh, can you imagine the press that's going to be around that dude? But like as Nick said, like if he shows up, he's definitely saying like, just trade me, get me out of here already. So I think that would press the issue a little bit though.
Who reads the defense better, the statue or Baker?
I mean,
which has a better arm?
I'm going to give Baker credit. Okay. Look, as much as I want to bet, Baker, when healthy, he has a nice arm. It's just he can't see where he's throwing it, and so that's.
If Baker shows taller. Up, is there any way that Baker looks bad if he shows up?
Oh, it doesn't look bad on Baker. It just looks bad on the team.
That's what I'm saying.
It would look horrible on the team, and I'm telling you, the media would have a field day if Baker Mayfield walked in there. I feel like it would be one of the biggest thing. They'll just be taping every interaction that there is with Deshaun Watson, right? I mean, you would essentially have to. I don't even know if you would split reps with Amari Cooper. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're just gonna.
God.
I don't know what that would entail. It
what
would
happens
make for great TV? Really?
What happens if they do like a WWE fatal 4-way for the QB starting position?
I don't know.
Baker versus Deshaun versus.
If they do tag team, who's Baker with Dobbs or is he with Jacoby?
Yeah, I don't see that Baker and Dobbs would be friends because of that Tennessee and Oklahoma game.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So I could see like Dobbs and Watson teaming up, and then Brissett and Baker. So I could see that. So who do we got winning that though? Because like
I don't mean to cut you guys off, but breaking news from Tom Withers AP. The NFL is investigating the Browns for tanking in 2016 and 2017. League has spoken to the team, which they have said they've cooperated fully. So sorry not to cut you guys off, but I figure that's pretty big.
Stealing my job, Matt.
Well, hey,
we're docking your pay, Ed.
Man.
We're
not paying you gold coins for nothing, man.
Fair enough.
Gotta step up. No, I'm kidding.
How would you prove the team was tanking?
That's what I was going to ask you guys.
We had Hugh Jackson as a head coach.
Well, I don't know. Like I don't know how you prove that though. You know
Like,
what I'm saying? Like
the only way, like when Hugh Jackson went on Sports Center, they asked him for evidence, right? And didn't he come up
and
short?
he was like, I'm not like I can't confirm or deny, the fact that, like they didn't come out and pay me, you know what I mean? But it's like you should be like, I don't know. I feel like, because to me it was, I know the Browns were really, really bad, right? You ask the Detroit Lions, like I don't know, they've been really bad too. Are they tanking purposely? Like I don't know. So
like, why is it coming out now that they're investigating us, like with a totally different regime?
Because
there's
Deshaun
only like
Watson
2.
reports tomorrow.
That's exactly why. No better way to take
My
it.
evidence is Jamie Meter. I say that Jamie Meter is the reason why that we didn't tank, because he should have not, would have been better.
The Pierogi
Yeah, he
Prince
would have
of
blocked
Parma.
that.
Oh,
Valley Forge
that
alum.
that game was awesome. It was.
Christmas miracle.
I would say that was and as sad as this sounds, that was probably my most favorite Browns game of all time, because it was Christmas Eve. It was cold as all get out, and everybody was miserable. And then they finally line up for this kick, and everybody thinks that it's going in, and everybody's crying on Christmas. Next thing you know, Jamie Meter blocks it, and everybody's losing their minds. Fun fact: the Browns didn't win a whole season after that. But
surprise.
That wasn't the final kick. They had another kick. They had a miss after that one.
No, it was the Chargers. It was the very
Right,
last
but there
kick
was
of the
another
game.
kick at the end that he blocked it, and then they had another kick that he missed.
Did they?
Yeah.
No, there was one final kick.
I don't think so.
I think I'm going to check this out, but I think there's one at the end of the
Ed's got to do some research. Breakhead research. I love it. I love it.
But
The reporter's opening up his notebook, ladies and gentlemen.
deep dive.
So,
but like, what was like? Why are they just now? Like, I know, like you said, it's probably because Deshaun's first day is tomorrow. But like, nobody, like Sashi Brown is in Baltimore now. The dude's obviously going to shame the Browns.
I just feel like there's always Browns news coming out for stuff that's other than.
It's negative.
Robby Anderson coming out with this.
If
People
the,
like to
if
bash
the Browns
Cleveland.
were tanking, though, wouldn't Sashi Brown also be penalized?
Yeah,
Exactly. That's another good point. That's a great point, right?
So,
you should then go over to Baltimore too and ask some questions as well.
So technically, like, should we even have to pay Baker Mayfield as a stipulation, because he was a result of the 0-16 season? So,
wow.
Oh no, it would be fine and forcing of a draft pick, probably like a third rounder. I mean, nobody in the organization is left outside of Jimmy Haslam, because you have to think like Andrew Berry was so low level at that point. So Kevin Stefanski wasn't there, and you can't really penalize players for tanking. So unless it's completely obvious. Now, if they want to find Corey Coleman for dropping a pass right through his hands, let's be honest here, he was the reason. So Ed, go to the corner.
I have breaking news. Josh Lambo missed a 45-yard field goal wide right as time expired, and the Jamie Meter block was with like 3 minutes and some seconds to go. That was not the final play.
Oh wow! Breakhead was good.
Breakhead news.
Breakhead news.
I think you're doing it backwards. I think you need to do it the other way, Ed. You were
the Breakhead logo. The Breakhead. It is Ed. I love it.
So let's just transition a little bit. So the draft is less than 2 weeks away, and I think we've already done some PFF mock drafts. So Manny, do you want to go ahead and start?
Yes. So, all right. So I know obviously the stipulation is depending on what any other moves that the Browns make moving forward. But so for 44th overall, I really like Logan Hall, and he fell to the Browns pick at 44. So I picked up Logan Hall from Houston. I like the fact that not only, I mean, he's not built like your typical D tackle, right? I mean, he's a 6'2", 283 or 6'6", 283, and like he's like built like an edge rusher, really. And so I like the fact that his run stop ability. So since I went defensive tackle, I always told myself that if the Browns did go defensive line and with the first pick for 44, I believe that they were going to go 2 wide receivers right afterward. And so I went with John Mechie and Romeo Doubs. I really like John Mechie a lot from Alabama. I'm really high on him. And then with my 4th pick, I went Neil Farrell Jr. Then I went Zaquandre White, running back out of South Carolina. Matt Ariza, punter from San Diego State. Because kicker/kicker, depending on, he did a little bit of both. And then I went Lucas Kroll from Pittsburgh, tight end. So that's my little mock draft. I just want you guys to know it was an A- from PFF. So if you guys, if anybody comes at me through the comments, it's A-. So that's me. That's me. That's what I have.
So you want to go next, Mac?
Yeah. So with 44th pick, I went with Logan Hall. I'm absolutely fascinated with his flexibility in terms of his position, because right now he's sitting at 6'6", a little over like 275. So he can gain the weight to become a defensive tackle, or he can trim a little bit and move outside. Now he is the highest graded interior rusher in Houston history. He actually graded out better than Ed Oliver. A lot of people try to do that comparison, but Logan Hall is really special in terms of just what his physical reach. Now, when you can engage with an offensive lineman and you have longer arms than him, you can really put him on his back heels. And there were several times to where, now, granted, he doesn't have a lot of weight in him, so he does kind of struggle against bigger guys and double teams. Now, I just think that he was just purely out of position. To play a 275-pound defensive tackle in D1, that's pretty tough. But in terms of, his length, when he engages in an offensive lineman, he can really drive somebody back. And he has the power and the flexibility, too. It's kind of crazy because he's at this weird weight. But he could still test it out very well at the combine, and his bend, bend is extremely important for edge rushers, because you want to get your shoulder almost as low as possible to get around the offensive tackle. So he does have the flexibility to be able to do that. And I do like his pass rushing moves. I thought he did decently well at the Senior Bowl. So now with the 2nd pick, I went with Justin Ross. To me, he was just the best wide receiver left on the board. The 3rd pick, though, I went with Jelani Woods. Now, PFF gave me a D- for that. This guy is 6'7", 275, and runs very well. So now, granted, it's a little bit of a reach, but he wasn't. I did one of these earlier, and he wasn't available at 118. So I would grab him in that spot just to grab another tight end as well. And he's just a physical specimen. I mean, this guy, in terms of, like, he's bigger than Gronk and runs just about as well. So after that, Jojo Doman out of Nebraska, pretty good tackler at linebacker. Marquan McCall out of Kentucky. Christian's talked to me a lot about this guy, and he was still left on the board. So he was 163 on the PFF big board. I picked him at 202. Now in the 7th round, I grabbed Cameron Dicker. Pretty accurate kicker in college, and somebody to compete with Chase McLaughlin in camp. So I thought that was pretty good. And then to round it off, I picked the safety Kendrick Duncan out of Louisville.
Nice.
Nice.
So it was a nice little draft. Not gonna lie, I liked it.
That Kentucky really helped.
It really saved it.
Yeah.
I mean, the Louisville player kind of hurt it, but Nick, do you have one ready?
So I do, and I just kind of went for it with this one, right?
Okay.
Because at 44, I took Travis Jones, right?
Oh, wait.
Obviously, the Browns still need defensive tackles. Sheldon Day got full credit, and I'm sure Matt will have all kinds of stuff to say about Sheldon Day. But Travis Jones, we need some more defensive tackles, so we did it, right? But then we get to 78, and we end up with Logan Hall, who we've already discussed here, right? The Browns need defensive tackles, so we're just taking 2 of them, We're just doing it.
You
We're just
got
gonna write
Logan
this down.
Hall.
Logan Hall and Travis Jones. I'll take it.
Yeah, that's where we are. This is through ProFootballNetwork.com, which
Okay.
we like using through on the Barking Brown show as well. Like
credible.
Jacob
Yeah.
definitely likes it, and we've used it for a bunch. But so then we get to 99, and we find ourselves with Justin Ross, the wide receiver out of Clemson.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we're bringing we are bringing a Tiger home for one Deshaun Watson. We are adding a weapon, and we're gonna. But if you thought we were done, we were not done. Calvin Austin, hello, 118. We've drafted 2
Memphis.
defensive tackles and 2
Hi,
wide
Calvin.
receivers.
Hi, Calvin.
Memphis.
I couldn't help it. He's there, and the Browns definitely have a wide receiver question. So, Mr. Schwartz, you got some competition. I don't know. We're gonna see. And then we're moving on. We're moving on. We've got Ellis Brooks, the linebacker out of Penn State. The Browns, are just churning through. We had so many linebacker injuries last year, so we're adding another one to the group, and we're going to see what happens. To round us out with 223 and 246, I took Kyron Johnson out of Kansas, the defensive end, just because the Browns still don't have enough defensive ends. So they don't.
Can't have enough.
And finally, I took Ty Chandler, the running back out of North Carolina. And honestly, I don't know a whole lot about him. I just said we take running backs at the end of the drafts. Andrew Berry's done it before, so we're taking Ty Chandler.
Let's do it. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
And Ed.
Now, I would have had a complete mock draft. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to highlight what I like. I was up in Cleveland. There was something in Mac's bathroom or something I had to clean up. So I had to take care of that. But I will highlight this. So what I want to take at 44 is I'm going to take George Pickens. Okay. I like that wide receiver. Okay. And then what I want to get is Logan Hall at 78. We're going to pull some of that. But then what I really want to do is at 202, I want to take that offensive guard. I want to take that Luke guy from Kentucky. And you all know
Luke Fortner.
Solid.
Center.
That's who I want. And then my last pick, I want to get Cade York, kicker from LSU if he's but he'll probably be gone before then. But those are my highlights. Like I said, I was busy in Cleveland cleaning up Mac's bathroom. So. That's breaking news right there.
That's breaking news. Breaking news.
So on my mock draft, I have at pick 44, I have the Browns selecting Travis Jones out of UConn. He's a big body. I think he's probably the best defensive tackle you'll have available at 44. Love the guy. Really need him in a Cleveland Browns uniform. And then at 78, probably my favorite Kentucky Wildcat, and Wan'Dale Robinson. I think he can bring that electric factor like a Deebo Samuel to a Cleveland Browns offense. At 99, I have Jojo Dumond out of Nebraska, as Max said. Pretty good linebacker. I think that's pretty good value at 99 as well. Yeah. At 118, I have the Browns selecting Neil Farrell, defensive tackle from LSU. Saw the guy play in person. Dude's really big. Can stop the run pretty good.
Is he healthy?
He can stay healthy.
We get these LSU players that are always banged up, whether it be Grady or Delton. Barkevius Mingo back in the day.
They always have
was a
something
safety
going
playing
on.
edge rusher, Ed. I don't know why you're sticking somebody on the defensive line playing 230 pounds. Sorry.
I'm still not okay with the fact that Jacob Phillips tore his bicep reaching for a jersey in the first day of joint practices.
Yeah, that was bad.
I was like, what?
But at 202, I have the Browns selecting Derek D's Nuts Jr. from San Jose State. I think he could be that third tight end the Browns have.
Will they put that in the media guide? Will they put?
Yeah, I was about to say, is that his actual middle name? Do we have a birth certificate here?
Yeah, that's actually on his birth certificate. Can confirm. Breaking news. That's my source. At pick 223, I have the Browns getting Luke Wattenberg from Washington. He's the center.
Yep.
I feel like we got good luck drafting kids from Washington.
Yeah.
And then Cameron Dicker At 246.
Kicker the kicker.
Horns up.
Horns up. So quick question for everybody, because I hear a lot of people talk about like guardrails and stuff like that, age guardrails and things like that. I don't know exactly, or like, anything in that guardrail system. And I'm a little bit of a novice, admittedly, to things like that. But is it something that is like, is it going off of proven things that Andrew Berry has used in the past?
Yes.
Or like, is that what it is? Go ahead, Mac.
Yeah.
Like, you know what it is.
So it's the big thing with the guardrails is just like their emphasis of focus. It kind of like, because when you think about it as a GM, when you're drafting and when you have like all of these all these free agents, it's almost like a giant list. You're being dropped out in the middle of the ocean, right? So these guardrails are almost like filters. Great example, when they draft somebody, they want to really try to get somebody that's like 21 or younger, right? Because you look at Denzel Ward right now, he's just now getting his extension. He's not even 25 yet.
Right.
David Njoku, he's 25 and he's about to enter his sixth, season in the NFL. The reason why they do this is that when they develop these players and they become superstars, or at least above average, when they sign their extension, they're younger than like 27. They get to keep these guys kind of longer.
Right.
Now, other things on the guardrails is just the importance of position. Quarterback, we saw that with the Deshaun Watson trade. Defensive end, they drafted and paid Myles Garrett. Just kind of things of that nature. So yeah, definitely when Andrew Berry looks at these guys, he wants to make sure that they fit within the mold there.
Okay. Thank you for that answer. I was just curious.
Yeah, your biggest risk is obviously that players break down as they get older, right? So when you draft exclusively younger players, you're ensuring that they don't break down in like year 2 of a 4-year deal or something like that. You push all of that farther out.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was questioning, because a lot of these players that I'm doing in mock drafts, and I guess everyone really is, you know what I mean? Sometimes you don't really pay attention to that age. You see 23 or 22.8 or whatever they have as the age, and it's like, now that you guys are explaining it, it's right, because once they're 4 or 5 after the franchise tag contract's up, they're 20, 26, 27, 28 years old, and it's like, all right, do you want to really extend it for another 4 or 5 years? But so it makes a lot of sense now that you mentioned it. So
it's kind of like the Baker Mayfield situation as well, like the contract, because he's 26, getting ready to be 27.
Yeah.
And at the end of next year, he would be close to 28.
Yeah.
So you would be signing his first contract at almost age 28.
Yeah. I was going to say he's a little older. Yeah.
What if I told you the Browns drafted a quarterback who's still older than Baker Mayfield?
The greatest quarterback in franchise history, Brandon Weeden.
I have a Brandon Weeden jersey.
That's a record, by the way.
I
The
do.
Browns drafted.
That's not a good
bro.
thing, Ed. That's not a good thing to have.
The Browns drafted the oldest rookie in NFL history.
How old is Brandon Weeden?
It's like 28. Well, he was 28.
Oh,
when he
now,
was drafted.
now he's like
First round,
56. He's like
75.
56 now.
It's probably what's he like now? 36-ish.
Yeah,
So we drafted him in 2012.
Yeah, 2012, and he was 28, I think, at the time. So
Okay.
So he's
Clearly,
like
the guard
13
race
years.
is there.
I thought
It's
he
like
was still in
38.
the league because he played for Dallas 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Dude, he's pushing 40.
He's 85.
He was drafted in
Confirmed.
2008.
I got
That's
a question
insane.
for you guys. Now, I was thinking
Yeah.
about guard, this, and this goes back to Manny's guardrails. Okay, now I think Jimmy Haslam has a bigger plan for Cleveland. I think he wants to win a Super Bowl and build a dome. Okay, I really do. I think that's what he
Here we
really
go
wants to
about the
do.
dome.
I think
Yeah.
the Haslam Sports Group really wants to do that. He did a nice job in
About the
Columbus
dome.
with their new stadium, and I think that's what his ultimate goal is. So I think that with the guardrails, I think obviously Andrew Berry is going to adhere to them. But with them going in with Deshaun Watson, 5 year, I think that the window's 5 years to really, really go for this, to get the Super Bowl and to get, the stadium started, So do you see a scenario where, especially the second and third day, where the guardrails, I'm not going to say are completely thrown away, but they're just not, because if you get a player, whether he's 23 or 24, they're still probably going to be good in 5. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like to
Yeah.
really go for it, because I think that's what they really want. I think the Haslam's really want a Super Bowl. I think they really want a dome, and they got that
Yeah.
5-year window with Deshaun. And so if a player's 1 year older than a guardrail, especially like in day 2 or 3, I think they could actually like look over some of those. If you know what I mean.
So I think like in your first and second round picks, which we don't have at first this year, but you're looking for more like a franchise player. So you take that age into more consideration. Like 2020, we took a left tackle, Jedrick Wills. He was just 20 at the time. I know how Mac and Ed feel about Jedrick Wills. We're just not going to talk about the talent right now.
Yeah.
But he fit the mold because long term, when he signs if we do sign him to an extension after the 5th-year option, he's just going to be like 24, 25, like Denzel.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it kind of fits. So you don't want to really take like a 24-year-old with your first round pick, and you got his first contract, you're re-signing him at like age 30.
I think you have a little bit of a point there, Christian, and as well with you, Ed. I think, even if you're doing a 5-year window for Deshaun Watson, right? You figure, okay, well, if depending on how the Browns have produced within that 5 years, if he decides to stay longer, because obviously the longevity of quarterbacks going through the roof now. I mean, we're seeing Tom Brady come out of retirement. Obviously not everybody's Tom Brady, but Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? Drew Brees could have played more. Who knows? But I mean, so if the Browns do really well, you can see that kind of regimen of everybody that was drafted around this nowish time. We redraft younger guys at the end of like 5 years from now, so you can like recoup that Browns offense and restart a little bit what the Chiefs are doing now. You kind of see them send away Tyreek Hill and try to get younger with the wide receivers. I wouldn't be surprised if they drive a wide receiver this year with their first 2 picks. So it's kind of something like that. And I think that if they do, if the Hasms do want to go, dome or retractable roof or something like that, you could definitely see something like that happen. And I agree. I see something like that happen. I don't know about you or Mac, Nick, or whatever. Give your thoughts on that.
I don't know anything for sure, but there's been speculation for a long time about Burke Lakefront Airport and like if they could potentially buy it and create the space or something like that. And because people have wondered, well, if they're going to get a dome, where are they going to put it? Because they like the way the stadium is now, I think it's just too close to the lake. I'm not positive, but they would need extra space, right? Yeah. And so there's been some talk lately about it and potentially it being bought and then sold. And that could make it happen. So, like, because let's say that Haslam's did want a dome. That doesn't mean they have a place to build it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Knoxville.
No.
No. That's
they're moving.
God, no. Not Knoxville.
But I really do believe like a playoff run or even a Super Bowl win, really, you know what I mean, in the next 5 years would really push it to say, hey, the Browns are really good. Let's give them a nice venue or something. Maybe even host the Super Bowl, host the national championship, or host the NFL combine or something. Yeah. Because I don't know how that contract is with Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. So you're right. I think that the possibilities are endless when it comes to bringing revenue back into the city of Cleveland. So it's a really good point.
Yeah, and I feel like it could. It would have to be a retractable roof. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, come on, like those beautiful Sundays early on in September and October when there's no snow.
Sometimes in October.
Sometimes in October,
late October,
and keep some of the people from municipal happy. That it is outdoors, right? I mean, if you want to, I don't know, if you really wanted to have a crazy weather game, you can keep it.
Don't get Max started.
You know something. So let's say for a second that
he's huffing and puffing. The Buffalo is getting ready to stampede.
Go ahead. I don't get the whole point of the dome. I don't. It makes absolutely no sense. Okay, look at Buffalo. Look at New England. They don't have a dome. They're up north, and frankly, I think Buffalo gets worse weather than us. Why aren't they building a dome? They want open air. So
they do.
I mean, you're going to be going out there anyway. I mean, people actually tailgate at Burkefront, so they're like that space is actually being used, and some people actually like to tailgate there, Ed. People that actually live in Cleveland like to go there before the game and enjoy themselves. But you're standing outside in the cold for 4 hours before the game anyway. Like, why does it matter when you're already to the point to where you can't even feel your feet to go inside, and then you got to peel off 6 layers? And I mean, what else are you gonna have there? You're gonna have some Taylor Swift concerts or something? Like those already happened at the Q.
Mac,
So-
you felt
Who
your-
doesn't want Taylor Swift
I don't
concert?
get it. I just
I'm
don't
feeling
like.
20.
I don't understand.
I feel
and
for Buffalo though, to be fair, for Buffalo, like the reason they're probably outdoors and they're not trying to build a dome is because no one's going on tour in Buffalo, and they're not going to. You know what I'm saying? Like they're when New York's right there. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they'd rather just do New York or Brooklyn or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's only one team professional.
Well,
team,
they could also
football teams.
they could also do like the Rock and Roll, the Hall of Fame. They could do the concerts there.
Yeah.
Have a bigger venue. They could make it more of like a, I don't know, and there could be more like NBA drafts there.
Mhm.
Could do more NFL drafts.
A Big Ten
maybe.
championship game.
Absolutely.
So, I mean,
I mean, you're
Possibilities are-
shaving off 10,000 people for a dome.
That's true. That's true. That's a good point. That's
No,
Mac,
but
talking
we
about-
got to make it bigger, buddy. That he's gonna model
Yeah.
after
Yeah, make it
Neyland down
bigger.
there in Knoxville. He's just gonna put a little
Mac,
layer on top
Mac,
of
you're
it.
talking about your feet. What happened last night? What were your feet touching last night? Worry about your feet.
What a
You'll be
segue.
fine.
What a segue. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's true.
Worry about his feet. My goodness.
Well, you're the one. You're the one that's 43 years old and you're complaining about the cold. I thought you would be one of those old school guys.
42.
Okay? I
That's
thought
breaking
you would
news.
be.
Break
I thought-
it. Break it. That's breaking.
I thought you would be one of the guys, fighting for this blue collar city, but yet,
A
I don't
beautiful-
know,
a beautiful-
man.
I didn't-
He's a Columbus guy.
I grew up.
yeah.
I grew up, man.
Someone just has to make the mock-ups of the stadium, and I think that it'll sway you back. It'll sway you.
Look at Indianapolis. Look at Minnesota. Look at these beautiful, huge cathedrals for
Huge.
football.
It's Detroit. Obviously, if you look at Detroit has an indoor playing indoor. You know what I mean? I feel like.
Well, they have to do something to bring people to the game.
Yeah.
So.
That's true. I'll grant you that one, Matt. I'll grant you that one.
Okay. Yeah. Points.
All right. Since we're talking about the stadium and how long it's and how we might be in a dome, let's talk about some Browns history. Let's have a little Browns talk. So let's just go around. Let's mention one player that all time was our favorite all time Brown, and then our favorite current Brown. So we'll start with you, Ed in Columbus.
Okay, my all-time favorite Brown, I would have to still say, I'm going to go with Bernie Kosar. My first game, December 17th, 1989. Last time the Browns won a division title. We needed to beat the Minnesota Vikings. It was freezing, Mac. So cold that we went to Lindale, the speed trap, and got the Burger King, got all these burgers, put them in a Pizza thermos. Okay, we thought, that'd be a way to keep them, warm. No, icicles by halftime. Okay, still freezing, -20 wind chill, coldest game Bernie Kosar has ever talked about. Browns win. Of course, it has to go to overtime because we have to freeze some more. We do a fake field goal in overtime. Mike Pagel throwing to Van Waiters, touchdown Browns. 6 days later, they go to Houston, win their last division title, 24-20, because of my man, Bernie Kosar. And my favorite current Brown right now would have to be from the Ohio State University, the man that just got paid today, Denzel Ward. Let's go, OH.
I baby.
Thank you.
All right.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
I came to bring it. I'm down with the Browns.
That's what we love. Love the energy, baby. Love it.
We need to clip that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mac. You want to go next? Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm really torn because it's obviously between two of the arguably like best special teamers to ever play for the franchise. There will always be a special place in my heart for Phil Dawson. I mean, in Buffalo, you can't even see the football with how much snow's on the field, but yet he puts it right through the uprights to win that game. It was neither team scored more than 15 points that game because it was one of those blizzard type situations. One of my favorite moments though has to be the overtime win in Baltimore, to where it clanked off the side, bounced in to the back of the crossbar, and then bounced out.
Do you know what that's called, Matt?
Do
you know what that's called?
Well, the Dawson crossbar now.
The stanchion. That's the stanchion. It's the stanchion. We learned the stanchion. It's called the stanchion.
So it bounced off the stanchion and then bounced out. Now I remember being in the car listening to this because we were on like a family road trip or whatever. But the way how they announced it on the game, and they said it bounced out, it was no good, and players are walking to the locker room. They pull everybody back out. They say, hey, we got to do this overtime. Dawson ends up kicking the winning field goal. So it was just, anytime you think of Phil Dawson, you think of, just automatic. He was second all time in terms of points for the franchise. Really surprised they didn't retire his number. Now some other guy's going to wear number 4. But in terms of the current Browns player, I mean, it's got to be Myles Garrett. He's going to break the franchise record this year. He only needs 5 or 6 sacks, and he's going to do it in less than 16 games. And Clay Matthews was one of the greatest, I would say arguably one of the greatest pass rushers of all time. So, he's passing him up and doing that. And Garrett's in going to be his 6th year, and he's already breaking franchise records. So, and also wearing his hoodie, Jurassic Sack Miles. So yeah,
Nice.
Oh yeah.
definitely gonna have to say Phil Dawson for former, Myles Garrett for current.
So let's hear yours, Nick.
So I'm a little biased because I'm a Kent State alum, and so Josh Cribbs is very easily my favorite all-time Brown. I always loved it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm biased, but it was so. You know what? Our special teams have been so putrid the last couple of years, and
Yeah.
I miss when we actually had a threat of returning for anything, honestly. So just Josh Cribbs, and I'll never forget how the fans just rallied to get him paid. It seemed like the Browns weren't going to pay him and he was going to go. And I really think they caved to public pressure. I do. But anyway, it was just so much fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
And my current Brown is definitely Nick Chubb. I love watching him play. I love watching him run people over. And he's been so good despite stacked boxes and bad offensive lines. I know now the offensive line is better, but he almost led the league in rushing with a bottom 5 offensive line, and Freddie Kitchens just forgot he existed, which still bothers me to this day. But yeah, Nick Chubb is I love Nick Chubb.
Give us a stat, Nick. Give us a stat about the 3 carries.
I learned I was actually incorrect. I wasn't I didn't use the so the stat was Nick Chubb's the only running back in NFL history to rush for over 100 yards on 3 or less carries, and I learned that it was because Chubb ran for two touchdowns along with that 100 yards that made him the only back, right? Because there's a bunch of guys, not a bunch, there's 5 guys that have done it as well.
We don't care though. Nick Chubb's the only one. It's the only one that matters.
Yeah, but how many of them did it for the Cleveland Browns?
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
There we go. 5 yards per carry. So you know what I mean? Nick Chubb is greatness, and the fact that anybody has anything other than that to say to him, it's beyond ridiculous. Because I would argue that he was the best 2nd round pick the Browns ever made.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I don't want to be laughed at.
Is it Cam Irving? Is that your favorite?
Listen. It's not Cam Irving. No, I'm wearing his jersey, but it's not Cam Irving. It's $12 from ClevelandBrowns.com. But listen,
nice. Good job.
So it's official. So there's only been one Cleveland Brown that has ever been on the cover of Madden. And he is the reason why I was a huge Browns fan to begin with in 2010. Peyton Hillis, 1,000-yard rusher. I know it's crazy, but for some reason, I think that's the first time I really got heavily into football, and he was on the cover. And so, I think for me, it was just something about being from Arkansas. I don't know. He just looked like a fullback, but he was a running back, and it was just insane. Madden curse got to him. I don't know what Peyton is doing these days.
He's in the CIA.
Is he in the CIA?
Wasn't he just in a movie?
I thought he was in a commercial. Well, we all see him everywhere. I don't know.
No, he was in a B-list movie.
Okay. Well,
I'll look it up here.
Please look that up. Please look
Does
that up because I want to hear.
Do you remember he had a podcast for 2 episodes?
Yeah, I remember that. So I know that he's probably not listening or will ever listen to this, but we need to get Peyton Hillis on this podcast.
We love Peyton Hillis.
We do have to get Peyton Hillis on this
Absolutely.
podcast. He was at Mac. I think you're talking about
The Hunt.
The Hunting.
There it
The
is.
Hunting, the horror movie.
Yeah. hunter.
Yeah, he portrayed a werewolf. So shout out to Peyton Hillis.
Yeah.
We had a Peyton Hillis reference on here, so it's a good day.
Yeah.
If he's listening somehow, we're gonna get Peyton Hillis on here. That's the next person.
Yeah.
We got
Oh
a
yeah,
shotgun
we're going
bang for
hard.
that.
I was shotgun 2 bangs at the same time.
Good
Wow.
man.
We
We
want you
want
to
you to
live.
live. We want you to live. My current favorite player. Man, I can't even say he's current. He's Jarvis Landry. I like Juice. Okay, I got a jersey. We talked about this before. I want Juice. I want him back. But I don't. So for me, I love Jarvis Landry. I love the fact that he was a part of the culture change here.
Yeah.
I love how tough he is at being a slot receiver. My height. I don't know what it is. I just like the aura he protrudes for everybody around him. Jarvis Landry is my guy. I was gonna do Nick Chubb, but Nick took him because they share the same name. I don't know. So
No.
but yeah. So Peyton Hillis and Jarvis Landry.
What's your favorite kind of juice, Manny?
My favorite kind of juice. I love orange juice.
Oh, okay.
I'm a huge orange juice person. So I might chug a little bit next podcast. So
Okay.
vitamin D, Sunny D, right? Vitamin D.
Yeah,
No,
Sunny D,
you're
vitamin
thinking
C,
vitamin C.
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C.
Oh no, that's vitamin C. What the heck
Yeah.
is Sunny D named for? I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, who knows?
What is this?
I don't know.
What is this crap?
Go ahead.
So my all-time favorite Cleveland Brown is none other than no ordinary Joe Thomas.
Ooh, good pick. Good pick.
I mean, 10,000, however many snaps, I can't remember. I know it's-
263, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Good. That's your beat reporter right there.
Breakhead news.
Breakhead news. Yeah, sources. So the dude was just there during horrible times. I mean, horrible. The dude blocked for more quarterbacks than years I've been alive. And the dude was just there. He always had a smile on his face, and he turned down an opportunity to win a Super Bowl ring to stay in Cleveland on a terrible team. That team was garbage. I'm pretty sure Cody Kessler was the quarterback. Who wants to block for Cody Kessler? Who?
I mean, Joe Thomas, apparently.
Joe Thomas.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Shout out to Joe Thomas, man.
And the dude just sat and his career just had to die for the Browns to live. Now look at us now, we're thriving. But
Who was his
Yeah.
last quarterback?
His last quarterback would have been Deshaun Kaiser.
Deshaun Kaiser, right?
Yeah.
yeah, that's crazy. Wow. Could have been blocking for Peyton Manning, but ended up blocking for Deshaun Kaiser.
That's crazy.
But he was just all pro, probably the greatest left tackle of all time. And you just can't help but love Joe Thomas. And my current favorite Cleveland Brown is Myles Garrett. Gotta go with him, man. He's monstrous. About to break that sack record, like Max said. And he's a tank.
Arms the size of your torso.
He likes poetry too, Nick. So
That was a great tweet the other day, Mac.
What?
Myles Garrett. About how he's going to pass the franchise
It
record.
got me hyped. It got me hyped. I love
Yeah.
Miles. I love Miles so much. What a great guy. Good
So
basketball player.
when we all got to meet up when Miles breaks this record, and we all got a shotgun and bang together.
I will shotgun water. I am not.
Yeah,
I like my body. So.
I mean,
There's
I'd
nothing
rather
wrong
just
with
do an
it.
alcoholic beverage at that point because it would be literally healthier than shotgunning said bang.
Why are you guys hating on shotgunning bangs? There's nothing wrong with it. Bang,
mean,
please
straight up unhealthy.
sponsor us. Please sponsor
Oh
us.
yeah, no. I mean, we'll take the
Please
sponsor from
sponsor.
Bang.
Yeah, we'll
absolutely.
totally
And-
take the sponsor. from
and
Bang.
I will
all
grab
shotgun.
We'll give you all the free energy drinks you want, Christian.
Yeah,
Totally.
I will shotgun a bang, jump into Lake Erie with my pit vipers on. Let's make it happen.
at Bang.
Mountain Dew, buddy.
So
this
so
is what
like
gets
Christian,
me through. This is what gets
and-
Ed in Columbus crazy. I get the shakes.
So Christian, I'm not trying to poke the bear here, but have you ever read the back of those bangs, what's actually in it?
No, you think I will
Yeah.
care what's in those?
I mean,
I care what it does to me.
Not even like a gander, not even a peek,
No, I just crack it open, turn it up.
and just turn it up.
Yeah,
Good for you, buddy.
It's not meant for what's on the outside. It's meant for what's on the inside. So that's how I look at it.
Great way to think about it, man.
R.I.P. Hold it now. No, but boys, this has been a fun episode. Not gonna lie.
Very
Absolutely.
fun. Very fun.
We've been a little bit of everywhere on this one, from Denzel Ward to shotgunning bangs and Max stepping in. Something.
Dog move. All right.
No.
But thank you guys for tuning in, and Nick, we really appreciate you hopping on with us.
Absolutely.
And
Thank
Nick
you
is
so much,
down with
Nick.
the Browns.
I am
for
down with
today.
the Browns. It's a lot of
Yes,
fun.
sir.
Browns. Have a good
And,
one.
go Browns!
Go
Browns,
Browns, baby.
baby.